I'm Connor Reddan. I'm a multimedia artist. Work out of Astoria, New York. I was originally born in Oceanside, New York in 1989. Currently, I'm working a lot in collage. I came across a lot of other collage artists on like Instagram. So I just started going to like thrift stores, flea markets, whatever, old paper shops, buying old books and magazines. I primarily look for materials that have images that are mostly unobstructed so that I have more freedom in terms of where I'm going to make my cuts. So I work really only with paper cutouts. I don't really do much in like the photoshopping or like harvesting digital assets. So since I'm kind of limited to what I can actually find physically, sometimes eliminates otherwise great material. When I was down in New Orleans back in April, I went to like an old vintage bookshop with my friend and we were walking through and I found a really great book of like retro Los Angeles architecture. It included images from like pre-1950s California, kind of like early industrial America, and then kind of like modern architecture, Art Deco stuff from like the 60s, 70s. And yeah, and those pieces have been like really awesome to work with. I'm sure there are buildings in the city that when I see them, I'm like, that's my favorite building in the city. I can't really think of a specific building offhand that I love more than another, but I love the kind of old architecture of New York City that you see sandwiched in between the modern glass structures, like that has a little bit more craftsmanship in the decor and like the trimmings and everything. I actually can remember a specific crayon drawing that I finished and was actually like, this is actually like pretty good. It was like very like kind of like suburban scene of like police officers and like a firefighter. I remember it taking a while to complete it, like more than I would normally spend sitting and drawing, because I was at my grandparents' house and there was like nothing else to do. So I was just like in the zone, focusing on this thing. That's definitely an early memory that I can think of in my like drawing and artistic endeavors. Oh yeah, definitely. It's big into comics and cartoons. I would say when I was a kid, but I still am. So to name a few, I'd say like Jack Kirby, David Mazzucchelli, Mobius, Adrian Tomine, and people like that. My undergrad degree is in film production. So I studied film in undergrad because I don't know why. I was just like, I just didn't even think that I could major in art. It was like not something I really thought I could do and pursue, even though it's probably the thing I have continued to do the most throughout my entire life. I took a couple of art history courses when I studied abroad. I just took a great art and architecture class in Rome and like a kind of partner class for that in Paris. That was like art history in the classroom split with like museum visits and like street walks to actually like see the thing in person, which was really cool because obviously both of those cities have like a really rich history of art, and because the courses were so tailored to what was actually there, like it was cool to be learning about things through a specific lens that you had like physical access to. David Lynch is a person whose work I really admire in like all of its facets. It's like painting first and foremost, but then filmmaking, and then wherever your inspiration's taking you, you just kind of like follow it and see what it reaps. I never have tried Transcendental Meditation. I have meditated, and I probably should meditate more, but never TM per se. Yeah, sure. I think that would be great if it was supplied in high school and not like a cost prohibitive endeavor like the way they pitch it. My most guiding theme, and sometimes it's pursued consciously, and I think other times it's just like, it just happens sometimes, especially in like the collage work, is just kind of like mystery and like ambiguity. I really like tend to lean towards when you could look at something and it, like you almost don't know how you feel about it. I always like when there's something left unsaid and like things aren't very like clean and tidied up. It's so funny how it's hard to say what I think are like the best pieces, because there are some things that I'll make and I will almost be like, this is not good, and I'll be prepared to just like bury it or leave it out, and then eventually be like, whatever, I'll just post it one day. And some friends would be like, dude, this might be like one of the best things you've done. And I'm like, I don't like it at all. So it's always, you never know like really how it's going to be received, which is like the craziest thing about making art is like, it might not do it for you as the creator, but like someone else might see something that, I don't know, speaks to them differently. I've done a series of collages that involve like a recurring image of like the kind of traditional like astronaut that you would see in like placed in a number of different contexts, and they all kind of carry this sort of like exploratory theme with them. It's like that figure confronted with like an alien landscape, not in the sense of like space aliens, but like alien to the context of someone engaged in space exploration, because they're kind of this like blank canvas, almost like the audience perspective of something, you know, like you can kind of like project anything onto them expression wise. They're not like a person in a photo who has a face and eyes. Like it's very ambiguous, like how they feel about where they are. I don't currently have a day job. I'm actually in law school, oddly enough. So that's kind of my day job right now. So yeah, not really working, doing like the occasional freelance project, but outside of school, I'm really just focusing on my artwork. Keep that ball rolling. Like I mentioned the Lynch thing earlier, when I read his biography like last year, Room to Dream, super inspiring. Like just make something, you know, as he likes to say, living the art life, instead of like beating my head against the wall because I can't think of an idea for a screenplay. I'll draw a picture because that's what I feel like doing, or make a collage or something, and then when the ideas for writing come, that's when I do it. I spread myself a little thin.